All right. Do you know that that everything that you experience in your life is coming from you? It's coming from your own consciousness. Isn't that a trip? Yes. Aren't you surprised at what you're asking for sometimes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever asked yourself, why am I asking for that? Have you? Like, why did I create that? How did I create that? What the heck was I thinking about?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You know. How many of you all have heard of the concept of guilt? Anybody familiar with that concept?
Yeah.
And how many of you are familiar with the idea that if you feel guilty, that if you are guilty, you should be punished? Anybody heard that concept before? Okay, so guilt, according to the Course in Miracles, is a request for punishment. So you have a consciousness that creates your reality and draws things to you according to your predominant thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. And then you do something that you think is wrong, or you do something that you think is bad, and you feel guilty. Okay, and because good people feel guilty when they do so-called what? Bad things. Right, and this looks like a class of good people. So that means you probably whip your butt harder than most people when you think you've done something that's not cool. You really do it good, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And one of our favorite ways of doing it, of course, we know from studying the Course in Miracles, is through our relationships. Whether that's our relationship to another person, or whether that's our relationship to money, or that's our relationship to our body, or our relationship to our job, or our relationship, just relationships. Sometimes people say to me, you know, I don't have a relationship. You're talking about relationships, but I don't have a relationship. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Because you got a relationship with everything. You know, one of the most intense special relationships that I've ever had has been with my cars. Mm-hmm. You know, I have identified with my car so much in my life that sometimes when someone struck my car, I said they hit me. I actually say something like, they hit me. Instead of saying hitting the car, this person hit me today. You know, that's how much I could identify with my physical possession. So I say it again. A being that's waking up in consciousness is a being that knows that mind is the builder and that thought is creative, and that what they are experiencing is a result of their predominant thought, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. The problem is, if you've ever seen an iceberg, you know what I'm talking about. There's just a little tip of it that sticks out of the top of the water if you're lucky enough to see it. But on the other hand, the much bigger part is where? Right, so that means that the amount of your thinking that you are conscious of is the tip of the iceberg. I'll say it again. When we think we know our thoughts, but the truth is we know just a very small fragment of our thought. And just as enough of our thought that we're focusing on right now, like whatever we're focusing on right now. But beneath the surface, there's a much larger body of thought. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you become aware of the part of your thought iceberg that's beneath the surface?
Have a relationship.
That's one of the best ways to do it. That's a really great way to do it. But the Course teaches that what you are perceiving as your physical world, that those are the reflections of your subconscious thoughts. I'll say it again. So if you want to know what you secretly think, it's what you really perceive outside of yourself, and what you look at as if other people are thinking, or what you are projecting on other people. Because in most cases, you really don't know what anybody else is thinking. So really what we're doing all the time, but I'll just say 90% of the time so that we can hear it, is we are projecting our thoughts outward and then perceiving them. Like you're projecting your thoughts on me right now, and whatever you are projecting on me, that's what you think I am. That's why there can be as many different perceptions of me as there are people who are sitting in the room. As a matter of fact, there are as many projections of me as there are sitting in the room. And part of your projection is going to be your past experiences with what you perceive as men, your past experiences of what you perceive as black men, your past experience of what you perceive as black men in a church looking strange. It's going to be, you're going to just keep adding it, and that's going to color your perception. Then you're going to also bring all your past learnings and beliefs, and then you're going to interpret me in terms of your past learnings and beliefs. So the truth is, do you see me? You really don't. You're just seeing your own thoughts. That's deep. There's you, there's me, and then your interpretation is between us. That's what's coming between us. That's what keeps us from loving each other and feeling peaceful. I'm bringing my past into this moment, and I'm using it to determine you. And then I deal with you as if you're the way I projected you to be. That's really cold-blooded when you think about it. Then I deal with you like you are.
Yeah.
You know, and if you find yourself being attracted to someone, the Course in Miracles teaches that you are only attracted to someone because they remind you of something or someone from your past. So even your attractions to new people are based on your attractions to past people. That's why sometimes you'll see the same pattern repeat itself in the relationship. You know, I was looking at the patterns in my relationships just the other day, like yesterday. You know, I've only had one female relationship in my entire life. She's just had many different bodies. Anybody relate? I've had one woman. I've been completely, just absolutely focused on one person my whole life, but she just takes different bodies. And sometimes she discards bodies that I would call, look like I broke up with that person. And that's because sometimes, like, if you have a plant, you have to repot it. So sometimes you have to change bodies in order to let the love continue to evolve the way the one love wants to get to you. It can happen through one person, but that also depends on your willingness to continue to expand and open yourself up to allow more and more love and truth to come through the relationship that you're in. But if you're with someone and they reach their limit, and the love can no longer come through at the level that it needs to go, you'll go through what you call a breakup. But the only thing that's really happened is that love, the one love, now wants to come through you. It has to come through you through another form, because that form no longer will allow itself to be used in that way. That's called the person hating you and having a restraining order. These are the things that, this is how you can tell when you've learned as much as you're supposed to from that person. It's that they don't want to see you, they don't want to talk to you, and they pretty much hate your guts. Now, when that happens, that means that you've reached the end of that particular learning cycle with that person. But if you feel guilty and you don't love yourself, you are going to be more attracted to the people who don't want you than the people who do want you. So you're one of those people that it seems like you're always attracted to someone who's not attracted to you. And the people that are attracted to you, you're never attracted to. Then you have decided not to have that kind of relationship. And you're also trying to convince yourself that it's not possible for you to have that kind of relationship. So the Course in Miracles uses relationship as the primary tool for enlightenment. So the Course in Miracles is a path for people who want to use relationship for awakening, even though there are many other paths besides the Course in Miracles that you could use for awakening. Are we clear on this?
Yes.
There is one truth, but there is more than one way to reach it. There's one unity temple, but there's more than one way to reach it. So in a sense, there is only one way. In a sense, there's only one truth. Now, the reason why the Course says we think there are many different truths is because we make them up. And so then it becomes my truth. The problem with your truth is nobody else knows it. They don't understand it. They don't know how it works. And you're proud of it, but in most cases, it's keeping you from having any kind of real communication or joining with anybody around you because they don't know your truth. Matter of fact, in most cases, I don't even know my truth. I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I would be honest. And many times when I study different paths, what I used to do is study a lot of different paths and pick out the parts I like and discard the parts that I didn't like. Anybody familiar with that?
Yeah.
The challenge with that is that when you get through, you're still in the exact same state you were before you got started because you've only accepted the beliefs you already believe. So you really haven't changed at all. Think about it for a second. You know, if I see the word way, and I look in this book and say, oh, the word way, I believe that. And I look in the next book and say, oh, the word way, I believe that. Oh, the next book, oh, the word way, I trust the word way. Well, when you get through, you just have way. So nothing has changed, right? So when you come into a new experience, like some of you coming into the class today, for instance, and I hear people say often, you know, I want to hear something new. I want to learn something new. And I go through this a lot in my classes. Okay, let me give you a clue about new. New means different. New means different. That means you're going to hear something different from what you believe. Is that fair enough?
Yes.
All right. And so therefore, since it's different from what you believe, is it possible then that you may disagree or feel some resistance to what you're hearing? Yes, because it's different from what you believe. And not only that, you identify with your beliefs. So when you hear something different from what you believe, you can actually respond emotionally with resistance, almost as if someone has attacked you.
Yeah.
You know, if you are a person who is all about monogamy, and that's your God, and then you hear something that says love has nothing to do with monogamy or open or any of the different labels and forms you come up with, then you're going to feel resistance because that's how you define love. So the resistance is not coming from the statement, the resistance is coming from what you believe and what you've learned and what you've identified with. Now, here's the situation. Do each and every one of you have a present experience? I want to make sure anybody that doesn't have one, I give you mine. I loan some of my experience to you, like, you know, the credit cards. You can have that experience. I loan it to you, you can have the experience. Okay. Now, those experiences that you're having are coming from the beliefs that you have now. If this is true, let's pretend it's true, that your thoughts are creative. And you, even if you can't get to the idea that your thoughts create what you draw and create to you, step it down to my thoughts determine my perception of things that happen to me. So if you can't get to the level that you really believe you're a creator enough to draw things to you. For instance, when you go to sleep at night and you have a dream, does the dream seem real?
Oh, yeah.
So much so that you've forgotten the regular identity that you have when you're awake, right? And it looks like sometimes you're in the dream and somebody might be chasing you, right? Then you wake up and you realize the entire dream took place where? In your mind. So that means everybody in the dream was
In your mind.
was part of your own consciousness, even though they looked like they were self-motivated individuals. I have a recurring dream of being a policeman. And I've had it for years and years and years and years and years. In various forms, I'm always some kind of policeman. And I think that's very interesting. Until I realized through dream interpretation and dream symbolism that basically is a very obvious symbol, law enforcement. Right? And so it's like I'm a spiritual law enforcement kind of person. You know, it's like for myself. You know, it's like my life is all about how can I take the laws of truth and apply them in my life and live them. Okay, that's so I'm very much about how the laws of manifestation and love and all those things operate. So if you're ready to change your present experience, is there anybody that'd like to change their present experience or some aspect of their present experience? Okay, then you cannot compare the new ideas that you're getting that will create a new experience for you with what you've already manifested. If you compare what I'm telling you with what you've already experienced, then it's going to clash because what you've already experienced is based on your previous beliefs and ideas. Everybody, you with me on this?
Yeah.
This is very important to get to be open to hear. The other thing is that the Course in Miracles says, if you really want to open up to a new thought system that transforms your life, there are certain guidelines that you have to pretty much try to remember. Which is basically you need not believe the ideas, you need not accept the ideas, and you need not even welcome the ideas. What? You need not believe it. You need not believe what I say, accept what I say, or even welcome what I say. It's very important. And realize that some of the things that I say are going to startle you, and some of the things I say may be hard to believe. Everybody with me on that? So when I say something that startles you, it's hard to believe. Don't say I didn't warn you, right? When you say, hell no, that couldn't be true, well, that was what I was saying. You'd be startled and you might find it hard to believe. Then it says you're not asked to analyze the ideas at all. You know, anal, A-N-A-L, anal, A-N-A-L, lies. Anal lies. You're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all. So that really blows my mind, because as an adult, that's what I do with everything. I judge it and I analyze it, and it's only true if I accept it's true, and if I don't think it's true, it couldn't possibly be true. That's the normal adult viewpoint. Is it not?
Yes.
Most adults, they think they are the arbiters of what's true. So if they say it's true, like if someone listening to me and that person said, well, if I agree with what you're saying, then what you're saying is true. And if I don't agree with what you're saying, then it's obviously not true. That's where adult minds work. And the Course in Miracles teaches that the reason why adults do that is because they're trying to convince themselves that they know what's going on. Very powerful statement. He says adults are always trying to convince themselves they know what's going on. So the only way they can do that is to constantly judge everything and everyone around them, and think that their interpretations are true, because by them believing in their interpretations, it makes them think they know what's going on. So being an adult has like this built-in judgment factor in it, because as an adult, I don't want to admit I don't know what the hell is going on in my life right now, and I really don't know. As a matter of fact, as you wake up in spirit and you wake up in consciousness, you find that the best thing you could have is a divine ignorance. You know, if you were to recognize you don't know, then the universe can answer you. If you think you do know, that is not a request for help. So even the way we are programmed keeps us from receiving guidance and help all the time, because the average adult, and sometimes especially in a male body, doesn't like to admit two things. I'm afraid and I don't know. I'm afraid is not a popular male statement, and I don't know is not a popular male, especially when it comes to directions. It's very difficult for me to go, I'm lost, I don't know what the hell I am. You know, the GPS was the best thing that ever happened to me. It really is, you know. So, again, I'm doing this quick review because it opens us up to take the learning to another level and to go deeper. Okay, that's what I want to do. And I also like to get some energy moving, because energy helps us remember. So I'm going to take about 5 minutes to cover the guidelines to the course, maybe less. And that allow us to reinforce, because I'm going to finish up this section on fear and conflict today, and what makes it and how to get beyond it. Anybody interested? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds like a worthwhile. Okay. Remember, it's okay to get upset with what you hear. That way I can feel free to communicate, and you can feel free to accept it or not accept it. Cool? Okay, now, so breathing, you're going to reach a level of consciousness one day that the way that you solve all your problems is going to be through breath. It's going to freak you out. The stuff you used to figure out, you're going to breathe through it. So I want to ask you to breathe, do two things. Breathe and try to look at everyone in the room, even if you have to turn your head. Look at everyone in the room, even if you have to turn your head. Let's get rid of the separation. I need not believe the ideas. Okay, you need not believe the ideas. I need not accept the ideas. I need not accept the ideas. Say what? I need not accept the ideas. Guess what? And none of this will matter. It won't matter now. None of this will matter. It won't matter now. None of this will matter. No. Because the use will give it meaning and show me that the ideas are true. It says the use will show you that the ideas. Now I want to ask you to do something that's even more intense. Move your head. I need not welcome the ideas. Say what? I need not welcome the ideas. Yeah, I need not do what? welcome the ideas. So you don't have to welcome anything I say, but some of these ideas I'm gonna actively resist. Some of these ideas I'm gonna actively resist. Some of these ideas I'm gonna actively. And guess what? And none of this will matter. It won't matter if you resist it. None of this will matter. Say what? Yeah. None of this will matter. No. Because their use will give it meaning. Say what? Their use will meaning. And do what? Show me that the I. So tell the Holy Spirit, which is your higher self, ideas. That tell Spirit, show me, yeah, that the ideas are true. Come on and show me that the ideas are true. Come on and show me. Then get all deep and serious with it. And go, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit. I don't know how in the hell I got in this class today. I was minding my own business and somebody drugged me down here. And go, some of these ideas I'm gonna find hard to believe. As well, some of these ideas I'm gonna find hard to believe. Some of these ideas, I need your heads. Come on, everybody, give me some heads. And tell somebody, some of these ideas are gonna seem quite startling. Some of these ideas are gonna seem quite startling. I am not asked to judge the ideas at all. I am not asked to judge the ideas at all. I am not asked to judge the ideas. Let's go. And guess what? And none of this will matter. Get down low with it and go. None of this will matter. It don't matter how you feel about it. None of this will matter. No, because their use will give them meaning. I say their use will give them meaning. And show me that the idea. Tell Spirit, show me that the idea. Get loud with me, go. Show me that the ideas that you can do, and show me. Yeah, tell me the idea. Tell Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Come on, God, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas. Do you wanna? So you wanna show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show me that the ideas are true. Show me that the ideas are true. Show me that the ideas are true. All right, now what's the point of that? That cool? That's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, the other very interesting statement that the course made was that the way that we got in a world of fear is that we forgot to laugh. We started to get too friggin' serious. Yeah, and we are creative beings who create through our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. And so you stay serious all the time. You create serious circumstances and serious this. So if you're a real serious person, don't be surprised if you're dealing with some serious stuff. That's what serious people do. So we need to. The reason why angels fly is because they take themselves so lightly. That's pretty good. I wish that was original. There is no original truth, so I'm on cool. I love it when people copyright the truth. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. You can't say God. You infringed on my copyright. I said you rest in God, and it's like it's hilarious. Okay, so if you have the book, I'm going to be on page 29, and I'm going to read paragraph 5. And that ain't no jive. always a sign of strain. Fear is always a sign of strain, arising whenever what you want conflicts with what you do. Fear is a sign of strain, arising whenever what you want conflicts with what you do. Whenever what you want is conflicting with what you do, you're gonna feel fear, and fear is strain. Strain, 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 strain. Oh yeah. This situation of fear arises in two ways. The situation of fear arises in two ways. The situation of fear arises in two ways. First, you can choose to do conflicting things. You can choose to do conflicting things, either simultaneously or successively. You can do conflicting things. You can do a lot of conflicting things at the same time, or you can do one conflicting thing after one conflicting thing after one conflicting thing. Do you know what happens? This produces conflicted behavior. Doing one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing that feels like a conflict to you. It makes your behavior conflicted, and so you have conflicted behavior. And that also means it becomes intolerable to you to have this conflicted behavior, because the part of the mind that wants to do something else is outraged. The part of the mind that wants to do something else other than what you are doing is outraged. The part of your mind that wants to do something other than what you are doing is outraged. That's a sure sign of a cult. There's a black man shaking his butt. You got to have a cult. You got it? Half the paragraph, you got it? The part of your mind that's wanting to do something else than what you're doing, it feels what? Is there any part of your area, any area of your life right now that you're feeling outraged? Yeah. So let's just say it out loud one time. I feel outraged. I feel outraged. I feel outraged. I feel outraged. Yeah. Take a breath. Then funk. If you don't funk, you can't get rid of it. All right. Second, you can behave as you think you should. You can be one of these nice people that's always behaving as you think you should, but without entirely wanting to do so. But without entirely wanting to do. In other words, you're behaving like the little nice person that you think you should, but you really don't want to. You know, something you want to tell your boss, but you're behaving like you think you should, but you really don't want to. There's something you want to tell your partner, your friends, but you're behaving like you're going around your parents, and you're behaving like you think you should, but you don't want to. Anybody familiar with what I'm talking about right now? Okay, that's the second thing that produces fear. The second thing that produces fear is behaving the way that you think you should, but you don't really want to. That makes fear. And now, is there any, it's easy to see why there's so much fear now. If that's what causes fear, doing one thing after another that you don't want to do, that starts in the morning when the alarm goes off. As soon as the alarm goes off, you start doing stuff that you don't want to do. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to put your clothes on yet. Probably don't want to go to that job. Probably don't want to do the job that you go to. May not even like the co-workers that you got, but you're behaving as you think you should without really wanting to. And you're wondering that why by 5 o'clock the best thing you can do is barely make it home and crawl, hopefully want to crawl into bed, but you got most stuff to do that you don't want to. So you're not quite through with the stuff that you don't want to yet. And then you wonder why you're in a bad mood. So that's what I love about the course. It's so simple. And it says you behave the way you think you should, but you don't really want to. And if you behave the way you think you should, but you don't really want to, what does it produce? Consistent behavior. But it entails great strain. So most people are consistent in their behavior, but they feel a lot of strain because they're behaving the way they think they should, but they really don't want to. Or they're doing one thing after another they don't want to do. Or they're doing a lot of things they don't want to do at the same time. And so you really look normal, but you're under a lot of strain. Your behavior is consistent, but on the inside you messed up. Is this everybody with me?
Yeah.
So in both cases, the mind and the body are out of accord. The mind and the body are out of accord. The mind and the body are out of accord. The mind and the body are out of accord. Your mind and your body out of accord. Your thinking and the way you behave is out of accord. Woo! What does that result in? Well, it's resulted in a situation in which you are doing what you do not wholly want to do. It results in a situation in which you are what? Doing what you don't want to do. So you're doing what you don't want to do. Whenever you're feeling fear and strain, it's because you're doing what you don't want to do, or you're thinking what you don't want to think. You're doing what you don't want to do because you're thinking what you don't want to think and what you shouldn't be thinking. Now, if you're doing what you don't wholly want to do, if you're doing what you don't totally want to do, if you're doing what I don't totally want to do, if I'm doing what I don't totally want to do, if I'm doing what I don't totally want to do, this arouses a sense of coercion. This arouses a sense of coercion. It feels like I just have to do this. I don't really want to do it. So I'm feeling what? Coerced. And when you feel coerced, it usually produces rage. So rage comes from doing what you don't really want to do. That's why if you've been holding back your feelings and not really communicating when something is bothering you, and then at some point a person does a little minor thing that doesn't even seem like it should upset you at all, you freak out, and they freak out. And you go, why are you being upset about that little thing? It's because you're never upset for the reason you think. It's a buildup of a lot of stuff that's been repressed over a long time. So if you're one of these people who are consistently doing what you don't want to do, behaving as you think you should, and you don't really want to, I would be surprised if one day you went on top of the 7-Eleven, picking people off. Oh no. The people who go off the most, the people who act the craziest, are the people who don't honestly ever express what they really feel, and they spend their lives doing things that they don't want to do out of a sense of guilt and sacrifice, because in the world we're taught that sacrifice is love. Sacrifice is love. That love is always doing what you don't really want to do for somebody who loves you. That's what love is in the world. So that makes people feel a lot of resentment. So you got a lot of people in a lot of resentment. You have a lot of people in a lot of resentment because they're doing what they don't really want to do, because they think that love is sacrifice. Love is not sacrifice. Love is not sacrifice. And no one who loves you would ask you to sacrifice. Did you feel your resistance? Anybody feel some resistance? Okay, those who feel resistance, believe me, it's okay for you to go ahead and keep sacrificing. I'm not trying to take your sacrificing from you, so you keep on sacrificing, okay? If you want to. Remember, these are just new ideas, different ways of looking at it, because the experience that you're having right now is a result of your belief in sacrifice. So you've already seen and experienced the result of the idea of sacrifice. So if you're happy with that result, by all means, keep on sacrificing. But if you want to let go of that resentment, you got to gradually start to move your life in the direction of only doing what you want to do. You can't do the whole thing overnight, it'll be too much. But you can start with the little things. If I'm only going to go to the movies I really want to go to. I'm only going to visit people I really want to visit. You can do little things, you know. Start doing something every day purely because it's just what you want to do. Start small, work your way up. Take a breath. So, when you have a sense of coercion, it usually produces rage, and then projection is likely to follow. So, when I'm doing stuff I don't want to do all day and I'm mad because I'm doing what I don't want to do and I've got consistent behavior, but I really don't feel like acting that way, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get angry and I'm going to say, it's your fault. So I'm going to project, oh, it's you that's making me do what I don't want to do. It is you making me do what I don't want to do. It is you making me do what I don't want to do. So I want you to think of a person that you know you project on in your mind and just go ahead and get some projection out for 30 seconds. It is you making me do what I don't want to do. It is you making me do what I don't want to do. It is you making me do what I don't want to do. Take a breath. Sometimes it feels good to project, even though it's not very helpful. But sometimes it feels good, right? Right?
Yeah.
So here's the scenario. You're in a relationship with a person, you're constantly doing what you don't want to do, and you're making them do what they don't want to do all the time. They are beginning to feel coerced. At some point, they're going to be enraged, and they're going to project on you, and you're going to call it them being mad at you. Anger is always projection because you're always responsible for how you feel. So there's no justification for anger, even though anger is going to happen. Because the justification would be someone else is in control of your feelings. And there's no one else in control of your feelings. You're the one who always chooses the feelings that you have. No matter what the situation, how you react to it is whose responsibility. I'll say it again. No matter what's happening, your reaction to it is whose responsibility? Okay, so therefore your anger is coming from you. It's not coming from the situation. It's not coming from them. It's coming from you. It's coming from your reaction, your interpretation of the situation. That's a very important point. There's the event, your interpretation, your reaction. The event, your interpretation, and your reaction. So you are the one who's making yourself mad. So what I try to do is say stuff like, I made myself mad about this person cutting me off in traffic today. I made myself mad because of blank, blank, blank. I made myself mad at you. I'm making myself so mad at you right now. I'm making myself feel so good about you right now. Both of them are the same. So even if you're angry, empower yourself. I'm making myself so damn mad right now. Give yourself the power. You're already gone. At least give yourself a little power behind. You're already tripping. Just go ahead and admit, I'm making myself trip. You're at a party and they're talking to somebody else and it looks like that vibe is happening, and all of a sudden all your insecurities and fears that you're making up come up. Your little iceberg is bubbling. You got a bubbling iceberg. You are the Titanic. You just gonna hit your iceberg of jealousy. You can walk up to the person. I'm making myself want to kill you right now. If you continue to talk, I will make myself kill you right now. Take some responsibility and you will watch the situation transform. Even if it's what you don't like. So if you feel angry, don't make yourself feel wrong about the anger. Just understand you're making yourself angry. And when you are angry, it's going to be difficult to change that emotion at that exact moment. So go ahead and let the feeling flow through you. Don't grab it. Don't analyze. In other words, the feeling of anger is trying to just flow through you on away somewhere, but then you judge it. Oh, I'm not supposed to. Your anger like, anger, I'm going to kill everybody. And then you go, oh my God, I'm spiritual. No, anger can't come through me. I can't possibly be angry. Let me sit that fear over here, and then I'll come back later, and we'll analyze that fear, and we'll process that fear, and we'll see what's going on with that fear. You know, and then all of a sudden, blue, 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 depression. Oh no, I'm spiritual. I can't feel depression. Depression is passing through me. Let me grab my depression and judge my depression and analyze my depression. Okay, I'll get back to it. I got to go to the cleaner, so I put my depression over here. And so before you know it, you got a whole storage unit full of crappy feelings that could have just gone through you on a little merry way, just like a cloud in the sky, right? But no, not you. You spiritual. So you got to stop, and then you got to, and not only that, you got to call somebody so they can look at your depression with you. And they could be partying too, but no, they're with you. They're with your depression with you. Why? Because you judged it. You saw it as something negative. You saw it as something bad, instead of just a reflection of not taking responsibility for your own feelings and realizing all of your feelings are innocent. So you could have just let your depression just, because that's what depression would do. So if you're depressed right now, I would like to ask you to do this with your depression, in the area you're feeling depressed. Look at your depression with innocence and wonder. Look at your depression and go, oh my God, this is a really great depression. This is one of the best depressions that I have ever done. Look at me. You know, you should have seen me this morning. My hair was all over my head. You know, I had stuff running out my eyes. You know, I was all depressed. My pajamas were hanging off of me. I was a mess this morning with my depression. You know, it's amazing how good I did that. Look at all, I was angry today. Man, I went off at work. It was one of my best go-offs that I have ever done. Man, I was so mad I could have killed everybody in my office today. That's an enlightened being. Not the one that's pretending they love everybody. I love everybody. I have a negative feeling toward it. And that's the truck finna run over you, honey. Are you mad at the driver? You're nothing against nobody, you know. So if you want to cut down on the drama, if you want to cut down on the accidents, if you want to cut down on the sickness, you want to cut down on those unexpected things that cause you pain, do you want to? Yes. Then just say this, which you may feel a lot of resistance to. You know, I'm capable of everything that any human being is capable of.
I'm capable of anything that any human being is capable of.
I'm capable of any feeling that any human being is capable of.
I'm capable of any feeling that any human being is capable of.
But I will choose the feelings I will experience.
I will choose the feelings I will experience.
So even though I'm capable of having murderous thoughts, I will choose not to murder. Even though I'm capable of having jealousy, I'm going to choose not to express it. You understand? So because you admit you can have the feeling, it doesn't mean that you're going to do it. So once you realize that it's encompassed within your own consciousness, there's no reason for your physical reality to witness it to you, to show you what you're in denial about. Do you hear that? It's much better for me to say, I feel jealousy right now, than to pretend that I don't and have situations come up constantly that show me that I'm capable of feeling jealous. It's better for me to say, I don't know anything about money, I don't know anything about prosperity, I don't know anything about abundance, I'm afraid of it, than to say, I'm so open to my abundance, but I'm broke. It's better to say, I'm making myself broke. I'm making myself feel afraid of abundance. And what is it that you think abundance, how do you think abundance would hurt you? Because the only reason why you wouldn't allow something to come into your life is that at some level you don't see how it benefits you, or it's something you're afraid of. And so if you are afraid of what you might do if you could bankroll your own imagination, if you are afraid of what you might do if you could bankroll your own imagination, you keep yourself safely broke. So some of y'all might be safely broke. And so bless yourself for that. I'm a very abundant being. I'm just safely broke right now because I'm afraid of money. You know, don't say I want a relationship, I'm ready for a relationship, but it's not showing up. If you really want one, it would show up. If you don't, if you're afraid of one, you'll say you want one and it won't show up. It's better to say, for some reason, I'm making myself afraid of having an intimate relationship, and I would like to ask for whatever blocks that are going on in me that would make me be afraid of love. I like to ask those blocks to be removed in ways beyond my wildest dreams and imagination. You want to ask for it beyond your imagination. You want to ask for more than what you can imagine. So you always want to stick that in there. I want to have this situation resolved in ways beyond what I could even think of. Don't limit it to what you can think of. I so love that I get the chance to teach what I need to learn every week. I need this so much. Because sometimes I have this ferocious temper that comes out. Yeah, it's like, you kill everybody.
Thank you for honesty, Earl.
I know, but it doesn't go over good when you're a so-called spiritual teacher, because a lot of times people expect you to be perfect, and if you show any sign of human emotions, then you are a fraud. He's teaching that course in miracles, and he gets mad. You know.
You didn't bring any Kool-Aid, though.
You know. No, I didn't bring any Kool-Aid. No. Well, you know, I think it's no need to bring in the Kool-Aid. Everybody be dead pretty soon anyway. It ain't like y'all gonna live forever if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, you know. All death is suicide. 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 All death. Some people just choose to do it very slowly, and they call it living to a ripe old age. They're just a slow suicide.
Procrastinating.
Yeah, but there's a few people wish you go ahead and get it done. Some people like going, "How'd you hurry up? Move it along, move it along." But who you really are, the eternal being that you truly are, never dies. What you really are never dies. Who you really are never dies. But it's obvious you can forget who you really are, because it may seem to some of you that you didn't exist beyond birth. So even if you are eternal, you see that you're capable of forgetting all of the stuff that happened before. So a conscious being would be one who is conscious of everything. Because if you're not going to be violent anymore and you're not going to attack anymore, how are you safe in the world? Good question. Well, there are two ways, really. Actually, there's one, love, but I can break it down a little bit more. Awareness. If you are aware, then you would know when you were in a situation or a circumstance or in a relationship, anything that was safe for you. An aware being knows. Or if you allow love to come through you, the vibration of love will repel fear. The true vibration of love will repel attack. And you just wouldn't draw it to you unless it's a situation you have chosen for your soul's evolution and growth, based on your level of consciousness. Some people think in order to grow, they need painful situations in order to really, really grow. So some of our brothers and sisters choose what we would see to be horrendous situations to live through, but that's what their soul, for whatever reason, believes that it needs to go through in order for that person to be awakened. It's not necessary, but they think it is. So you let them have that experience. And then there are those of us who've done that so many times that now we're saying there must be a better way. You know what I mean? I mean, even to the day when I go in a restaurant, I don't like to sit with my back to the door, because back in the Wild West days, that's how I took myself out a couple of times. You know. You know. So you'll get to the point, you'll recognize, you know, all of your dreams, but they're just what you would call past lives. And you don't have to believe in reincarnation. You don't have to believe in reincarnation. You don't have to believe in anything that you can't do right now. That's another thing I love about the Course. That says that you don't spend any time on theoretical issues. Reincarnation is a theoretical issue. So it could just be something that's controversial to waste time, because I can't prove to you that it exists and you can't prove to me that it doesn't. So it's a waste of time to talk about things that you, but can I offer you peace? Can I see you as innocent? Can I take responsibility for the way that I'm feeling? Can I want to join with you and be kind and loving with you? I can do that now. So what we want to do is what we can do. And then all the stuff that's theoretical, how many chakras I got, or chakras I got, or pakras I got, you know, it's like, I believe the spiritual centers are there. I can't prove it to you, so that's not the point. But can I forgive? Can I see you as innocent? Can I want your joy? See, we need to focus on the stuff we could actually do. Can we look at each other and want each other's safety and happiness this week? Can we appreciate each other? See, the person that doesn't want to change always focuses on theoretical issues. So watch when you're talking to your friends how much of their conversation is about theoretical things as opposed to practical applications of the truth. You know? So, will you take a breath with me? Here's the last sentence that I'm going to say today before I do a little short thing at the end. Whenever there is fear, it is because you have not made up your mind. Whenever there is fear, you have not made a decision. So your mind is therefore split between the two behaviors. And so your behavior inevitably becomes what? Erratic, because you're doing what you don't want to do and one thing after another that you don't want to do, and you're going back and forth doing things you don't want to do. So your behavior becomes erratic. Correcting at the behavioral level can shift the error from the first type, doing one thing after another that you don't like, to the second type, which is behaving as you think you should without really wanting to. So most people are just behaving as they think they should without really wanting to, because they're more focused on behaving correctly than changing their minds. That's why people can behave like they really like you and can't stand you. They can behave like they like you but can't stand you. So all of us can behave. That's what I was a kid. I heard, why don't you behave? Anybody know what I'm talking about? It's time for you to behave. So we're good at behaving right. But if you are acting the way you think you should without really wanting to, it will not obliterate the fear. It's not going to get rid of the fear. What's going to get rid of the fear? What will get rid of the fear is to make a decision one way or another. Whatever that situation you're in conflict about right now, you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. You can always change your mind later if you need to, but you need to make a decision right now. In that situation you're in fear and conflict about, you need to make a decision right now. You need to make a decision right now and know that what you're feeling is fear. And recognize that your fear arises from a lack of love. Fear is coming from not feeling love, and love is freedom. So in this area, you're not feeling free. You're not feeling free. You're not feeling love. The only remedy for the lack of love is perfect love. The only remedy for the lack of love is perfect love. And perfect love is the atonement. Perfect love is the atonement means perfect love is the answer. Perfect freedom is the answer. The truth is the answer. Make up your mind. Make a decision about that situation. If you're going to stay, stop saying you want to go and you don't know what to do. Just stay. And say, right now I'm not ready to leave this situation. I'm decided that I'm going to stay right now. I'm going to decide I'm going to accept my boss. I'm just going to let my boss be. I'm going to make a decision that that's just my boss. And if I make my peace depending on how my boss acts, that's me setting myself up, because the one thing I can't do is change my boss. But I can certainly change my thoughts about my boss. I can certainly change my thoughts about my partner. I can certainly change my thoughts about the situation. So I'm going to make a decision that I'm going to, in this moment, I'm going to do nothing. In this moment, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to make a decision not to make a decision. I'm going to make a decision not to make a decision. That's still making a decision. If you make a decision not to make a decision, you're still making a decision. If you make a decision to not make a decision, you're still making a decision. My favorite one is from the Course in Miracles is this, when I'm in conflict and I don't know what to do. Try this one. It goes something like this. Decide for me, Holy Spirit, or God, or the universe, or higher self, or infinite goddess, or light, or all that is, all that was, what's going to used to be, what was the light of it used to be yesterday, ever, all the new age, new thought, regular stuff that we call anything, just don't say God. You know, the light being of the infinite ray arc of the rainbow slope, you know, Puja, you know, whatever but God, okay? Anything higher than yourself, your divine self.
That is so cool.
I used to do it, and I would say anything but God, you know. That's okay, that's all right. But you still got some issues you need to deal with. Just in case you think you're really enlightened, if you can't even say the words, you got some stuff to deal with. You know, you might want to take a look at it, get out of denial. Okay. So, decide for me, Holy Spirit, loving Spirit, God, Jesus, higher self, Buddha, whoever. Got it? Decide for me. Allow yourself to be overruled. Got it?
Yeah.
The reason why there's still fear is because what? I have not made up my mind. Would you acknowledge yourself, please, for hearing this much, for letting yourself hear this much in this day? Oh! And now that was the practice run. Now really give it to yourself. Come on, really give it to yourself. Give it up! Give it up! That's what I'm saying. Woo! All right. Okay, this is great. Now, where everybody's in a good mood, I'm going to do the love offering. Because this all I do in the world is teach and everything. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. You know, you all are my mighty companions. And I am so glad that I chose and attracted so many cute ones. It's easier to be on the path with everybody cute as you all. You know what I'm saying? You look around, it's like, oh my God. You know, look at your avatars. Bless your avatars, your body. Your bodies are your communication device in this plane. I know sometimes people confuse you with your avatar, and they be after your avatar. And they forget about you. As a matter of fact, they don't even want you to say anything. I love it. The Course says that, that to the ego, it's just about the bodies being together, and you basically don't want the other person to say anything because they might interrupt your fantasy. That's true. Have you ever just been totally attracted and turned on by somebody until they open their mouth and then they mess the whole thing up? Because you had them so perfect in your mind, they was like, oh, and then they said something. You went, oh my God. But because there was a part of you that was attracted to their body, you went on and dealt with it anyway. Until everybody got quiet, like they don't know what I'm talking about. It's so fun. Y'all spiritual people, I know. Y'all don't ever think about the body for the body's sake. I know. I don't know what I was thinking about. I know y'all don't think about that. So I'm going to give you, and if you got a pencil and you can write this down, I'm going to give you the first axiom of truth, the first step in awakening is to allow your mind. So I'm going to give you the first step to awakening to take with you today. Okay? Here we go. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. Nothing, and you could do it in the first person, that's why I like to do it. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Remember, you don't have to believe it. Remember, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. But say, nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Here's the other last sentence of it. You experience only the effects of your choice. So we would put it this way. I experience only the effects of my own choice. Say what? I experience only the effects of my own choice. So here are the two sentences. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. You will watch your whole life transform in 3 months. In 90 days, even if you were mad, even if you were angry, even if you were happy, even if you were ecstatic, you said, nothing that I experienced is caused by anything outside of me. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. Woo! Woo! Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Now, who in the room is willing to just say out loud those two sentences right now? Just say it. Anybody. Just, you don't even have to be saying it together. Just say it.
Nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me.
What's the second sentence?
I experience only the effects of my own choice.
And go, nothing that I experience is caused by anything outside of me. Whoops. Next sentence. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I want you to think about a situation right now, a person or something you were thinking about before you came today, and tell yourself, I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of... See, when you put it in a rhythm, it's easier to remember it later. That's why I do things with beats, and besides the fact I just like funky music. Okay, one more time. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I experience only the effects of my own choice. I choose abundance.
I choose abundance.
I choose love.
I choose love.
I choose freedom.
I choose freedom.
And I choose joy.
And I choose joy.
And I choose juicy.
And I choose juicy.
And I choose safety.
I choose safety.
I choose happiness.
I choose happiness.
I choose security.
I choose security.
And I choose God.
And I choose God.
And breathe. Now, our last on before we go out into the lab. And hugs are available. I love hugs. So any huggers in the house, especially tree huggers, they really know how to hug. All right, you ready? It'll go something like this. Some of you know it. Last on. Okay, y'all got it? You got it? You ready? All right, take a deep breath. Let's go. I love y'all. Give it up. May the force be with you. May the force be with you. I love y'all. Have a great week. Remember, you got your 2 sentences. All right. Don't forget the flags.
Are you doing Thursday?
No Thursday.
No Thursday.